If you want an exciting career, if you want a chance to advance yourself, if you if you want a chance to travel, there's so many different aspects to this trade. I know guys that worked in Australia, Singapore, all over the world, all over the globe. And if that's what you want, it's there for the taking. All you have to do is apply yourself, right?
Yeah.
And there's not many jobs that I know of that offer that, right?
Hello, and welcome to the Elevator Careers Podcast, sponsored by the Allred Group. I am your host, Matt Allred. In this podcast, we talk to the people whose lives and careers are dedicated to the vertical transportation industry to inform and share lessons learned, building upon the foundation of those who have gone before to inspire the next generation of elevator careers. When talent is mission critical, call the Allred Group. With industry expertise, top talent, and exceptional customer service, you need the Allred Group on your side. Your priority is their priority. Call now, 404-890-0445. In a world of rapidly changing technology, some professions remain timeless. And today we're diving into the fascinating world of elevator mechanics with a true industry veteran. Meet Jim Lembesis, a professional who spent 46 years mastering vertical transportation. From working alongside sports legends at the United Center to installing elevators in Chicago's iconic Trump Tower. With a career spanning construction, maintenance, and modernization, Jim's journey is a testament to passion, continuous learning, and the incredible opportunities hidden in skilled trades. Get ready for an inspiring conversation about innovation, mentorship, and why some professionals never want to retire. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Glad to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Looking
So,
forward to this.
thank you, and especially after a hard work, a hard day of work, right? I mean, you've been
Yes.
at it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Probably started
Absolutely.
super early in the morning, right?
My day starts at 3 a.m.
Oh my, oh my. Yeah.
No
Wow.
complaints.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you said you've been at this 46 years. Is that
Going
right?
on 46 years. Yes.
That's a little while. So, how did you get started in the first place?
My father was an elevator mechanic,
Okay.
and I followed in his footsteps getting into the trade.
Did you ever say to yourself, "Heck, no, there's no way I'm going to be doing what my dad did"?
I No, not really. As a little kid, you heard all the stories, and when you would get together with other elevator guys, I kind of knew that's what I wanted to do.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, from an early age, did he get to take you to work sometimes, or did
My
you?
older
What kind of?
brothers, not me as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you had enough exposure that you're like, all right,
Oh
I know I'm
yeah,
going.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How old were you when you actually got in?
I was 18 years old right out of high school.
Right on. Right on. Never looked back. You've never said, man, I wish I'd have done something else.
No, no, to be honest with you, I had a scholarship to be an engineer, and I bypassed that to do this.
Okay.
But this is
Well,
what I wanted to do, and you know,
yeah.
no regrets.
Well, in a way, you are an engineer, right? You're engineering vertical
Absolutely,
transportation.
every single day,
Yeah.
every single day, we have to make the elevator fit in an existing building, and that's not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Even after you started, or I'm sure there were hard days, and especially as an apprentice, or did you ever wonder what you gotten into, and
A little bit at first, because it was overwhelming.
oh, sure.
Walking in, overwhelming, and you're tall buildings, and you're wondering if you're ever going to be able to succeed in it, right?
Right.
And the more I worked at it, and the more I learned, that just erased out of my mind.
Yeah. What was it that first really clicked that you were like, oh yeah, this is it?
Well, I knew tools and stuff like that before I got in the trade,
Mhm.
so that part was easy for me. It was being able to take direction and follow through, because
Okay.
that's the biggest thing. as a young constructor
Yeah.
is to be able to follow through. And somebody tells you to do something, and they could put their I can't think of the word when they know that you can perform the duty that they've asked you to do, and then you
Okay.
follow through, and it's like you didn't get many pats on the back with the old timers, but when
Right.
they gave you one, it felt good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm sure that especially as they give you that nod, like, all right, hey, you came through for me, you did what I needed to do. I mean, that's got to be huge, right? And just
Oh
building your
yeah,
confidence that okay,
absolutely,
okay,
exactly.
very cool. Who are some of your your mentors, maybe your mechanic that you felt like really believed in you and really helped you get to where you needed to be?
There's a gentleman by the name of Ed Rudag. He's been doing this 63 years. He's still active.
Oh wow.
He's 83 years old, and he's still an elevator mechanic. But that was probably my first guy, and he ended up. He was actually my father's apprentice back in the 50s.
Wow.
so
Okay.
so that was my first mentor, you know, and he was like the top guy back in the day, and he took me in, he showed me things, and I was able to keep up with what he was teaching me,
Yeah.
and and it just blossomed from there.
That's
So
awesome. That's
yeah,
amazing. What were some of your maybe hard lessons? Were there some things that were like difficult to learn or maybe, you know,
well,
painful in the process?
the electrical part was hard for me because
Hmm.
I didn't have no background whatsoever on that. But
Right.
the building the components and stuff like that, I was able to perform pretty easily. Not easily. I don't want to make that sound arrogant or nothing, but I
A
was
little more
able to
intuitive,
grasp it.
maybe.
Yeah, I was able to grasp it and perform that part of it.
Hmm.
The electrical took more time for me to get comfortable with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Well, in a way, it's kind of kind of invisible, right? And if you get it just wrong, it's going to light you up. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
some hidden danger there, and make that
Yes,
contact.
yes. And
Yeah,
it's not so much that, it's just making all the apparatuses work
for
electrically,
sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Build it, you got to build it, and then electrically you got to get it to work, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and if you go fry on a controller board or something, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what was
That's
your
fine.
like your progression through the trade?
My progression through the trade was I was an apprentice. Back then we called them helpers. They weren't
Hmm.
called apprentices. And I was a helper for the minimum of 4 years, which was
Hmm.
the standard back then.
Hmm.
And then I was on a big project, and they needed guys that know how to that were certified welders.
Okay.
So I was very good at that part, and so they put you on a temporary mechanic.
Okay.
Temporary mechanic gets the pay of a mechanic. He performs all the duties of a mechanic, but I was just there to strictly weld. So
Okay.
walking beams and welding brackets and things to that nature. And right from that, I did that for a year, and I went as a foreman, installing
Wow.
my own jobs, and I was a big project foreman as at the age of 22 years old,
Oh
23
wow.
years old.
That's big. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was an opportunity, and my boss put some faith into me, and I did good. The job did good. The install went pretty well on time, and I got another project, and I did that for. I was a foreman about 11 years, and then I went into the maintenance part of it.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So obviously a lot of construction up front, and then you moved to maintenance and did that for a
Right.
while. Is that right?
Yeah, I did that for 21 years, and then I went into the modernization part of it, where I was a modernization adjuster.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
I've been doing that for probably the last 11 years or so.
Okay. So it's still in that mod adjuster role. You really kind of done everything.
Yes, yes, I've hit all the bases.
Yep. Yep. Uh, Tell me, what would you say is one of the most exciting projects you've ever worked on?
I had the United Center in Chicago where the Chicago Blackhawks and the Chicago Bulls play.
Cool.
So it was exciting. Like when the Blackhawks went to the Stanley Cup against the Boston Bruins, I was at every home game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because in case something went wrong,
You're
I
getting
was
paid
on
to be there,
site.
right? It's like, hey,
Yes.
somebody's got to be here.
We had Comiskey Park, Chicago White
Uh-huh.
Sox baseball team, and we were there a lot during games and stuff. That was kind of neat. I was part of a lot of big office building projects. The Trump Tower in Chicago. That was the first 100-story building that was built in Chicago since the Sears Tower.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that was huge. That was I went in there as a maintenance man though.
Yeah.
Right after the installation, I took over control of that building.
Very cool. Very well. In a lot of ways, you kind of got a backstage pass, right? You get to see everything that's going on. I mean,
Oh yeah,
there's kind of no place you can't go in there because you got to make sure that it's gonna
yeah,
it's gonna do its thing.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sometimes you're rubbing elbows with movie stars and music performers that you'd never think about before.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. This is Matt with a brief message from our sponsor. The Allred Group has been recruiting elevator industry talent for over 14 years. If you are looking to grow your business and hire great people, contact the Allred Group at allredgroup.com. That's ALLREDGROUP.com and talk with Matt and his team about how they can assist you. And now, back to the show. So you told me a little bit about being at the United Center, rubbing shoulders with sports heroes. And what was that like?
Yes, that was a blast. I mean, like I was telling you, Michael Jordan scored 35 points in a game, and the next morning we're razzing him as he's going in for practice at the United Center. Then he couldn't score more than 35. But he was a good sport. He was very good sport about it. We would go back and forth, put it that way.
No, that's awesome. I mean, just that you had that opportunity that
Absolutely.
that you were there and could get to know him a little bit and
Yeah,
harass him.
especially parking my little service van next to their $150,000 vehicle.
Oh, sure.
And I always say, don't scratch my truck.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, it's just that's something I hadn't really thought of is
Yeah,
that again back to the backstage pass, right? You're gonna be there when no one else is probably working on it and get
right.
to know the team, get to
Well, they see your face, and once they see your
yeah
face over and over again, the small talk starts. You know what I mean? Like good morning and stuff like that, and then next thing you're having a conversation, and that's kind of neat.
yeah. It's not an experience I've ever had, and that most
Yeah,
people would probably get
yeah, right.
because you're in those important places, and it's like
And they know that, and
yeah,
they know you're important. You're part of the building. You know what I
right,
mean?
yep.
So it's really neat.
Yeah. Well, and if the elevator acts up, he'd probably razz you a little bit about it
Oh
too.
yeah,
Like, what's going
oh,
on?
yeah. So, my elevators don't act up.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I'm sure you're on it. Um, what would you say? I mean, you talked about the gentleman that's in his 80s still doing this work. What is it that drives elevator mechanics? Not all of them, right? But a lot of them to stay and do the work. I know a guy in his 90s. I asked him if he's ever going to retire. He's
Wow.
like, I don't want to retire. What what
No,
what what is that from what you see?
it's just the love of being around the guys, the being good at what you do. Once
Mhm.
you get good at what you do, and nobody's ever great, but you can be good at what you do, and then you're teaching younger guys,
Mhm.
and everybody kind of looks up to you for the knowledge. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
I think that kind of keeps you going. Like, hey, I'm having a problem. Can you help me fix it? Either it's on the telephone. or you
Sure.
go to that job site and help that person in person, that kind of keeps you going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in 46 years, you've probably seen a few problems that you're like, you know what, I can help you with that because
Absolutely. I've
I've
seen it.
worked on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And and
absolutely.
and honestly, there aren't that many people throughout the world that they could call except people like you. They're like, hey, you've been on this. I need your help.
Absolutely. I have people from different parts of the country that call me. They see my profile on LinkedIn and
Oh,
they said, let
wow.
me give this guy a try.
I'm trying to work
Honestly,
on an elevator here in Mobile, Alabama, and I
and
looked you
that
up.
happens. That happens. And it's a guy from Miami, and I had a guy in the Bahamas call me, and the company was thrown out of a hotel that was under construction, just getting up in
Wow.
a resort. And I helped them through the whole process of getting those cars ready to for public use.
Yeah.
And I had a standing invitation to go to that hotel whenever I wanted. I never took them up on it, but it was funny. I said, no, we're
That's
just here to help each other. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's amazing. I mean, even if you did take them up on it, it probably
Yeah,
just build the relationship. It's like, oh hey,
sure,
come
sure.
look me up when you're in Chicago,
But
right? I mean,
he's called me after that running into problems and stuff. So it's good. It's good. It makes you feel good when you can help somebody, right?
yeah, yeah,
Somebody that's
yeah.
struggling and trying to find the answer. And
I think that has to be part of what makes it so rewarding. And honestly, that's part of what drives my interest and my desire in talking to people like you that get so excited and love what you do. To be able to say you love what you do after that many years, I mean,
yeah,
there's
it's
there's a lot of
crazy.
people that can't say that.
I have coworkers that look at me cross-eyed when I say that.
Maybe they just haven't maybe gone over that hump yet where they,
It might not have
the
clicked yet. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
the confidence and the years of experience and the
Sure.
opportunity to give and to, just the interaction. I mean, it's a special community. And I'm wondering, just in my own mind, like I'm wondering if other industries could learn something from the elevator industry, right? To have employees that are happy to go to work, that are willing to get up at 3 a.m., that are willing to, you know, you probably could have retired a few years ago, and here you are, just,
Yeah. When it's time, I will, but I don't know when that time's going to be.
yeah, yeah, no hurry, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what would you say you love the most? I mean, you brought up a few people, sorry, a few things. What what do you love the most about the work you do?
The most I love about the elevator industry is the constant changing of technology,
Mm-hmm.
and it forces you to either learn or
Mm-hmm.
fall back, right? So if you don't, if you say I've learned is all I'm going to learn, you're going to fall back, and
Right.
other people are going to get ahead of you. It's not as far like it's a race or anything, but they're going to get the big projects, and if you want to be the guy that they lean on to solve problems, you're going to want that knowledge, right? So you're going to keep changing with the times. And when I started, it was all relay logic. The
Yeah.
microprocessor part of it wasn't invented yet, right? It wasn't
Right.
out there for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that came on board, I said, oh, I think I could do this, and I
Mm-hmm.
learned my way around it. And so the knowledge thing is to me is number one.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to learn something new, and learning
Tell me.
something new is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how do you, I guess, apply yourself? What is it that you do to kind of push into new knowledge? And is it about books? Is it about hands-on? Is it a combination? Do you take classes? I mean,
Oh,
what does it look like?
it's absolutely a combination of everything you just said. It's sometimes they send us to school. I was
Hmm.
just at school 6 months ago for something that we were working on.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long class. It was just, introduction, and then we take it from there, right?
Hmm.
Your common sense can pretty much solve the rest of it. It's just different processes, different terminology,
Hmm.
and you just got to. You sometimes you need a little help grasping that part of it, and then once you get it, once you know how it works on one thing, you could pretty much solve going down the line. It's just symbols are different, or like languages are different, right?
Yeah,
So you go to a different country, you have to learn how to communicate in a different language, right? And
yeah,
that's basically what it is with different companies and processes, you know.
for sure.
Yeah, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So do you? It sounds like you know, when there's a new class opportunity, you're one of the first to raise your hand and say, "Hey, sign me up."
Oh, absolutely. I always have been. Always have been.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you're hungry for that knowledge because I do know people that sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, if I have to learn one more thing, right? Why
That's
can't I just
exactly it.
stick with the old way? Why can't I just stay with what I know? And isn't that good enough? And then it's easy to fall
Uh,
behind.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what I was saying. You do fall behind. And if you fall behind, it makes it that much harder to get back up there, right?
Oh,
So as long as you try to keep up with the stuff that's happening around you,
mhm,
that's changing, I mean, the rest is gravy, right?
right, right. Well, and I mean, technology is changing constantly, right? So even
Absolutely.
you
So
know,
it's
if you're if
never
it doesn't take long to fall behind.
no, no, no. So if you were a switchboard operator and you didn't want to go into the new way that they did it, you fell
Sure,
behind. You never caught up, right?
you got laid off a long time ago, right? And it's like game
Exactly.
over. For sure, for sure. So how often do you go to classes? I mean, is this like every 6 months? Is it every 3 months? Is it every, once,
It
twice a
depends.
year?
It depends when, like, if the company has a new product they're rolling out,
Okay.
they'll send certain individuals to training
Mhm.
to make you aware of all the changes that the new product's going to have, and then they rely on us to spread that training to the field
Okay.
technicians,
Uh-huh.
and we bring it out to them in real life, right, and on job sites
Right.
to help them jump into that new stuff.
Cool. Cool. So you and I don't know how much you can say about this. Maybe it's totally confidential, but you talked about working on some new equipment that you've never seen. It's pretty different from
Right.
what you
Well, it's not confidential. It's my company was bought by a major company. I was working for an independent company,
Mhm.
and it's Schindler Elevator. And my background, I've never had a background of working on Schindler Elevator
Okay.
equipment.
Mhm.
So now I'm tasked with installing it and then commissioning it to turn over to the public.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's just a different flavor of equipment. Does the same thing essentially, but if you've never
Absolutely.
touched it, if you've never
Right. And the technical part of it is the part that I'm learning, and I'm having a blast, right? I had an engineer on my job site last week, and he taught me so many things. I probably forgot half of them, but the things he was teaching me was exciting, right? It was neat learning how somebody else does something, right?
right.
I could do it somebody else's equipment, the stuff I already knew, but to learn it in a whole different set of eyes, right?
Yeah.
How they're doing it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really neat.
That's awesome. So like a field engineer, Sue, I don't know if he designed it or it's probably his job to go out and teach everybody, hey, this is how this works.
Exactly. He goes job to job all over the country. Yeah, so it was neat. It was very educational.
Yeah. Well, and then it's up to you to, like you said, to adjust it, to hand it off to, I mean, you're ultimately responsible, you and your team to make sure that
Yes.
this is
Yeah,
done right
absolutely.
and handed off.
And I'm passing that down to the people on my job that are working with me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, how many different like apprentices have you trained over the years? Any
Oof.
guess?
In the hundreds. In the hundreds. And when a guy that's been with you and you tried to teach him everything that you think you know, and he's successful later on, that's really rewarding. right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you had a little hand in that, and then every time you see him, he thanks you or shakes your hand, and it's like that's awesome. You know what I mean?
that's cool.
Because
How much I mean, are you able to keep up with, or do they reach out a lot? The ones that you've kind of brought up?
absolutely, absolutely, they want to see how you're doing, and they still want to bounce questions off you.
I'm sure. I'm sure. In some ways, it's almost like a parent-child thing. Like I raised that person.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I remember you when you were a young kid,
Oh yeah, yeah. Like 20, 30 years later, right?
Oh my gosh, there's guys that helped me and are already retiring.
Oh wow. Oh
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, and honestly, just talking about kind of new people coming in and the new generation, that's part of the reason, I wanted to have this conversation with you is just that,
sure,
it seems like from my perspective, there's sometimes it's hard to attract the right talent. I think there are a lot of super sharp, smart, people coming up, but they may not always know that, oh, there's an amazing career there. They never would have
yeah,
guessed, right? And so just
right,
getting that message out that the fact that you've been at it, that you still love it, that you love learning, that you're constantly learning, I think is a message that certainly a lot of the youth coming up would benefit to hear.
sure, sure. Like for me myself, I had a little bit of a disconnect with the younger people coming in, and now that I'm working with them again, and all these young bodies, right?
Hmm.
It's kind of cool because they have a different spin on what they grew up knowing, right? The
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
computers and stuff. I mean, that's all second nature to them. And 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 to show them how it applies to elevator work is it's kind of neat.
that is neat. And it's probably like, yeah, they can teach you how to use some app on their phone, and you can teach them how to apply that knowledge elsewhere.
I had my phone fixed today, matter of fact.
Well, I have to go to my 16-year-old to get help with my phone all the time, right? Which is a
Exactly.
little,
It's just a whole different breed of guys or technicians coming in, and
yeah,
they got the computer part down, and now I'm trying to teach them the mechanical part, right?
sure,
They'll catch on to the computer part without a problem,
for sure.
but they still have to know how the gears mesh. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the safety, right? Maybe they haven't been
Absolutely.
exposed to some of
Right.
the risks of whatever heights, pinch
Sure.
points, enclosed
Oh
spaces.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's a whole new world for them.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's how you got to reel them in a little bit, and so they don't get too far ahead, and they learn that part first and
Yep.
foremost.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Jim, we're getting kind of close, to on our time here. But last question I want to ask you is, kind of talking about the new generation coming in. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe thinking about the industry, or maybe they're just starting out? What would you say to them?
If you want an exciting career, if you want a chance to advance yourself, if you if you want a chance to travel, there's so many different aspects to this trade. I know guys that worked in Australia, Singapore, all over the world, all over the globe. And if that's what you want, it's there for the taking. All you have to do is apply yourself, right?
Yeah,
And there's not many jobs that I know of that offer that, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and I've talked to people kind of the same way, right? Once you learn your trade,
Yeah,
you can write your ticket so many different directions.
absolutely. And that's the point I was trying to make. To me,
Beautiful.
that's you can't pay for something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's what
awesome.
that's the thing that keeps the job interesting. Yeah.
Perfect. Jim, thank you for being with me today. I've enjoyed
Man,
every minute.
thank you. I enjoyed it as well. Thank you.
You bet. Good luck to you and stay safe out there.
You as well. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Elevator Careers Podcast, sponsored by the Allred Group. a leader in elevator industry recruiting. Please visit our YouTube channel at Elevator Careers or check us out online at elevatorcareers.net. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, stay safe.